Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so much for joining me for an amazing session of the Daily African Proverbs. I am excited to be here with you. We are live streaming on YouTube. Thank you so much, M. Jewel, for being here with me. I truly appreciate you. We are taking a virtual journey today all the way to Senegal. We are taking a journey to Senegal, and our proverb today is amazing. I actually want to pin it to the top of the room on Clubhouse so that everyone who joins us there can learn a little bit about it as well. I am just so excited. Thursdays like today are days where we also have Gogo Rutendo Ngara, the incredible, griot from South Africa. But today she's traveling. And over the last 3 weeks, Gogo has been traveling and she's unable to be here with us today. So that's why you are going to hear from me primarily for most of our time together today. But I have eight lessons for us to learn from today's proverb that says, your ears are wiser than you are. Your ears are wiser than you are. This proverb is just incredible, and I want you to take a moment, if you're watching on YouTube, to share your comments in the comment section, and also if you are joining us on Clubhouse, remember to join us on the stage, and also clip the conversation that we are having with some of your community members. I am going to just, ping in a few people here before I continue on. If you're on YouTube, you're probably wondering what pinging is. But I am multi-streaming on YouTube and also on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is only for listeners, people who just listen to this as a podcast. And on YouTube, you're able to see my face and we are able to engage even in a more deeper way. So today, as I was saying earlier, we are taking a virtual journey to Senegal. Senegal just won the Africa Cup of Nations recently, and and also yesterday, Senegal qualified for the World Cup in Qatar. So Senegal is a country that is in celebration mode. I want to just quickly read some comments here from M. Jewel, who is a regular attendee and supporter of the Daily African Proverbs. M. Jewel, grand rising to you as well. And what else are you saying here? This is a Gogo day, but Gogo is traveling. She's actually here in the US. She was in Hawaii. She's traveling with a group of other people who are deeply involved in protecting indigenous wisdom from Hawaii to Africa to India. They're all traveling. I don't know what kind of event they are a part of, but that's why she's not here with us today. And tomorrow is going to be my last day of live streaming until May. I believe it's going to be around May 2nd. Let me just confirm here. So that, yes, tomorrow is the last day I'm going to be live streaming and doing the Daily African Proverbs until May 2nd. I'm taking some time off to do other things, to rest as well. And so this proverb reminds M. Jewel of giving attention to the spiritual ear first, rather than the ears we think work best. That's a good point. As usual, when we come here for the Daily African Proverbs, we bring these African proverbs and we dissect them so that we leave our conversation with some nuggets of wisdom. And today's proverb, your ears are wiser than you are, it's also posted on my Instagram. You should engage with it over there. And remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that we can continue growing our presence on YouTube. This proverb reminds me that we all want to be wiser. We all succeed. We all make knowledgeable or intelligent decisions. But ultimately, we always have this feeling that, if I was a little wiser, I could have done that better. If I was a little wiser, I could have slept longer. If I was a little wiser, I could have eaten better. If I was a little wiser, I could have spent more time with so and so. But it can be tough knowing where to start to grow in terms of wisdom. And since I started the Daily African Proverbs in January 2021, there has been a number of close friends of mine that have told me directly that, the Daily African Proverbs is too complicated for me. It's too deep for me, I can't deal with it. And I smiled and I didn't really have an honest answer because, for me, I'm just on a journey. I'm just on a journey seeking wisdom and also building a village of people that are seeking wisdom, wisdom seekers, knowledge seekers. So I just felt that this proverb speaks to everyone who is probably listening or watching this, and you always feel that, African proverbs are only for the wise, or this kind of conversation is only for the wise, or for people who are like this or like that. I have to say that even me, I feel insufficient when it comes to wisdom. I'm always only trying. And when you look at people out there, there's nobody that can claim. Even Gogo Rutendo Ngara, who is incredibly wise and incredibly well-read and well-traveled, she rarely says that she's the wisest of all. But she's always encouraging me and all of us here to continue trying, So one of the best ways to start growing your wisdom is by listening. You could start by listening to podcasts. You could start by listening to people around you. And I listed 8 different nuggets here that I feel that we could take away with us. I'll repeat them at the end of our room today, but because we are just at the beginning, I'm going to read through all of them just quickly. I jotted this down before we began our session today, but I truly want to first recognize Tracy and Noga and Brother and Next here on Clubhouse, and I want to urge you to ping in 5 people into the room to join us for today's conversation. And also remember to share this conversation here on Clubhouse. Share it on Clubhouse, share it on Twitter, share it across other platforms. Just take a minute and then we will begin. And also clip this room. I'm just clipping it actually as I am speaking and sending it to Twitter. And then after that, I want to share with you all of these amazing nuggets of wisdom. The first one says, listen more and talk less. Listen more and talk less. The second one says, take time for reflections every day. I just took 10 minutes to meditate a little before this room. And I intentionally take time to meditate every day before I start my day. Be patient and never give up on learning. Many times we are forced to learn things so quickly. Even on these social media platforms, on Clubhouse, for example, things change so quickly. Every week they have a new update that we all have to keep up to. On YouTube, they make new updates every day, similar to Clubhouse. On YouTube, you can also clip videos now, such things didn't exist 2 months ago on both platforms, you know. So be patient and never give up on learning, you know. Number 4, be humble and admit when you don't know something. Yeah, this one is sometimes hard for me too, you know. Humility is impacted by your ego. So a lot of the time you just want to be Mr. Know-it-all, you know. Number 5, practice mindfulness in everything you do. This one is a hard one too. It's definitely hard for me, but I feel that lately I have made significant progress. You know, and I observe and measure how I'm doing in terms of mindfulness just by seeing how I treat my daughters, seeing how I treat people that I work with, you know. Surround yourself with wise people. That's the 6th one, you know. Now this one is a true one. So many times you think that you have it figured out, but when you talk to somebody else, or even when you come to this daily African proverbs room and you listen to different perspectives, you realize that what you knew was just a slice of the whole bread. And then study different subjects and learn about other cultures. You know, if you live in America or if you live outside of you know, your tribal village, then you are definitely forced to learn different subjects and also learn about other cultures. You know, here in Seattle, I have so many people from Asia that I have close to me. When I was growing up in Kenya, you could only see a Chinese person. Well, now you can see more Chinese people because the Chinese are building a lot of infrastructure in the continent. But you know, growing up, you never saw so many Chinese or other Asians besides Indians, you know. And so learning about other cultures and exposing yourself to other subjects. For example, for weeks and weeks, I was, you know, organizing a weekly session here on Clubhouse about digital currency and NFTs and Bitcoin. And I don't know enough about such subjects, but because I want to learn, I exposed myself to it and built a good network of people. I can't do it anymore because of other obligations, but whenever I want to tap into that, whenever I want to be involved in that, whenever I want to invest, I know where to start just because of that. And finally, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I think this is one of the difficult ones for many of us, including myself. Many times, you know, we do a lot of public facing things, especially on social media, and it's always challenging for us to allow ourselves to make mistakes because we are living in a world where we are taught to believe that perfection is the order of the day, you know. For example, when Will Smith, I've talked about this about the last 3 days, when Will Smith you know, slapped Chris Rock, it was a mistake that happened, you know, on both their sides. But it's now a subject of every conversation, including this one now, because, you know, making mistakes is something that has been made to look so unusual, so rare, and it needs to be normalized, and we need to start normalizing it just for ourselves at the beginning. So I want to welcome my amazing guests who have joined me on the stage. I see Next, I see Brother, I see Tracy. Welcome. I want to first of all start with you, Next. Share with us where you are joining us from, and also what today's proverb means to you. Your ears are wiser than you are. This is a Senegalese proverb. Thank you for being here.
Hey Simon, thank you for this podcast, by the way. I'm glad I came across it. So I'm from the UK and I'm originally from Somaliland. So yeah, I guess I live in a country other than my native country. And yeah, I think this proverb, what it means to me is, to do more listening rather than talking. And it's just been like a calm moment, to listen to you and to listen to all those points that you've made. Sometimes it's good to just sit back and listen.
Thank you so much. Next, I appreciate that. Listening is definitely, it's not easy. It's easy to say that you're listening, but to actually listen from your heart is hard because there are so many distractions. Even a lot of the time, I find myself telling my daughter, I have 3 daughters, telling one of them that they draw your attention. They say, "Daddy, look." Then the moment you start looking, you grab your phone. So it's I think it's an exercise, and it's something that for me personally, I need to continue growing and listening with all my heart. So thank you again for your contribution. Brother, how are you doing, and where are you joining us from, and what does this proverb mean to you?
Peace and love, family. This is Brother Earth. I'm calling from the North Carolina Council. And honest to you again, Simon, for always, keeping us tapped in with the wisdom of the ancestors. And when I hear this, I'm in agreement with a lot of what you previously said. And it's a saying that, you have one mouth and 2 ears for a reason. So you can listen more than you speak. And also, too, with the listening thing, it's being able to, a lot of times, I'm working on this as well. You listen at things or you hear things with the intent to respond, opposed to listening at things with the intent to understand. Yeah, and with pardon self.
No problem. No
Yeah.
problem.
Okay, I'm right here. And let me say this. Yeah, being able to listen with the intent to understand, and also this is the final point I'm gonna make is our words we speak have spirit, and a person could be saying something all pretty and nice, but the spirit of what they saying has an ill intent behind it, and your ears will pick up that vibration. So that's why it's always important, like you said, to listen with the spiritual ear opposed to listen with the physical ears. I come in love and I leave in peace, brother.
Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate that. I really appreciated also when you said that there's a reason why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And also, I loved it when you said that, we should listen with our spiritual ears. That one is an amazing point as well. Thank you very much. If you're just joining us, welcome Stella, welcome Tess, welcome Tracy, Johnny, Noga. Thank you for being here. And to everyone who is with us on the YouTube side, MJWell, I don't see any other people participating in the chats. Please comment so that we know that you're here with us. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you're on Clubhouse, the link is at the top of the room. And if you are watching this on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That's one of the ways that you can support this work of bringing African proverbs into conversations like podcasts and just preserving it so that, we can listen to it in different formats, but also share it with our children and our children's children. Now I want to come to you, Tracy. How are you? Where are you joining us from? And what does this proverb from Senegal mean to you? It says, your ears are wiser than you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Grand Rising. Thank you, Simon, for this, as always. I am joining you from Georgia, which is in the south of the US. And a few different things came to mind when I first read this. The first thing that came to mind is I remember, like, I can see the visual of sitting with my great grandmother who lived in the South, and then also sitting with my great grandmother who lived in the North in Connecticut. And just listening to them, they were just so wise and full of stories about what life was like. And what I found was, I'm remembering it like it was yesterday, how different their lives were based on one living in the North and one living in the South, at a time when there was just so much segregation. And it was like one of the most joyful things. I remember, like, my great grandmother in the South, as she was sharing with me these stories. It was my first time, like, eating watermelons, and her showing me how to spit the watermelons out. That was at a time when, watermelons actually had seeds in them. And I just remember the stories that she shared. And now when I go back and research my family tree, it makes me just remember those stories. And I just feel like, wow, I'm so glad that even as a little girl, that I stood still and sat long enough just to hear what she had to share with me. And this also makes me think about, the fact that I hear with my ears, but I really listen with my inner ears, which really comes from my heart and my soul. And I just take a pause when I'm listening to just notice, where am I feeling whatever they're sharing with me in my body? And so I want to be slow to speak so that I can take in and absorb not only what they're saying, but the energy and the vibrations of it. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Tracy, as you are speaking, I was just thinking that listening is an investment. And a lot of the time when someone is listening to you, you feel satisfied at the end of it, even if it's a child listening to you, or even if you are listening to a child or listening to someone, and you're listening, deeply. At the end of it, it's almost like words are food, or are just feeling in a way that there is a certain kind of satisfaction. Do you want to add something, Tracy?
No, I was just hand clapping for you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, now I want to welcome my sister Tess. How are you? Where are you joining us from? And what does today's proverb from Senegal mean to you?
Greetings to everybody and peace to the room. I am well today and I'm joining you from Florida. And thank you for inviting me on stage. And today my brain is a lot more focused. So the proverb today, your ears are wiser than you are. I'm still digesting it, and I really like the share that Tracy made a couple of minutes ago. And when she mentioned that, listening with your heart and listening with your inner ear. And I think Brother Earth also mentioned something to that effect. And so to just wrap all that up, all I came up to say was pretty much to speak about what Simon was speaking about, which is everybody's speaking about the slap, but then ignoring everything else that happened all around it. I wondered if people actually listened or have been listening over the years to the interaction between all the three parties involved. And so I just want to highlight one thing. As a society, we tend to demonize one thing over another. And the situation made me go back to my books and actually read the 9 different types of violence. Violence does not come in physical form only. And sadly enough, that's the only thing that people seem to be very adamant about, pointing fingers and demanding perfection when it comes to that, while ignoring all other forms of violence, that are perpetuated in society, that how we relate to each other. And so I would just like all of us, even as we go through everything, to, listen, to understand, observe, and not to trust everything that we see at first sight, because most of the times there's something else going on behind the scene, or something else that happened in the background, or that happened that you missed. So that's my share for today. My name is Tess, and peace to everybody.
Peace to you, Tess. I love that. I love that. I think, just to add a bit to what you're saying, is that listening is also a form of heightening your awareness, right? Nice. Thank you. Stella, how are you? Where are you joining us from? And what does today's proverb from Senegal mean to you?
Hi, everyone. This is Stella. I'm joining from Kenya. Today's proverb, your ears are wiser than you are. It's. I love the proverb, so I'm still laughing if I imagine people's ears. So your ears are wiser than who you are. To me, it simply means that listening, just as everyone has said, listening is very important. And if I look at my day-to-day life and activity, I listen a lot. And the biggest lesson that I've always picked from it is that when I don't listen, I miss a lot. And sometimes I end up making the wrong impressions, or like I end up judging prematurely. So basically, I've learned to listen, and whenever I take my time and listen well, I always end up having very few problems. So it's really important to listen, especially when you want to get something out of it, when you want to gain something. Yeah. So that's what the proverb means to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, Stella. I agree completely. Also just thinking about this proverb, and also knowing that you're in Kenya, especially the region where you are. I lived in Mbita for a long time. I mean, Mbita is a region next to Lake Victoria, but the specific area where I lived was between, there's a hill, a big hill. It's almost like a mountain. It's called Gembe Hills, and it's between Mbita town and Homa Bay. Between the lake and this hill, there are too many snakes, So the people that live there, and that's the community that I was working in. My mother is from that community, actually. They have to contend with listening deeply, so that you know where a snake is before you get there, So when I was living there, I actually had to learn how to listen to the movement of things in the bushes, the movement of things on the ground, and so the environment you live in, the people you walk with, will sometimes hold your hand and stop you in the course of your walking and tell you stop. And the moment they tell you stop, they had seen something that you didn't see, and it just means they were listening more than you are. Even though both of you are seeing and you're taking the right strides, you're rushing home, maybe you're carrying maize flour from the posho mill so that you can go and cook. But the moment he says stop, and then he says look, you see a big snake crossing the road, and he says let it cross, or let's go this other way, and then you know that, wow, if I was alone, I would have stepped on it and it would have been a disaster. So that's just another example of how you could actually be seeing, and it could be daytime, but you're not actually listening. So thank you, Stella. And I see Kikuyu, Kikuyu, Crystal. How are you today? Where are you joining us from? And also, what does today's proverb from Senegal mean to you? Your ears are wiser than you are.
Hey, Simon. Hi, everyone on stage. This proverb is right on time for me. I think that this is a very wise piece of advice, or just
Hey,
something
Crystal.
to keep.
For
Yes.
some reason today I don't hear you very clearly. I wonder if you could get closer to your mic. Can you try that?
Okay, let me see. How is that? Is that
Oh,
better?
it's like day and night.
Okay. All right, cool. No, thank you for that so that I can be heard. So this proverb, um, what came up for me is just the importance of reflection and going inward. Um, I think that sometimes we have this impulse of timing, like when we think in a neurotypical way, um, someone speaks and there is an expectation for a response. Um, but sometimes it's okay to say, I'm processing, and just letting what you're hearing sit with you. Um, I think that there are a lot of different influences within the human flesh uh, that can sometimes come up when we speak. And I think the real answers are always inward, always inward. There are so many things that shape how we think, but really letting things sit with us, um, I think that is what's key. Um, Even in conflict, sometimes when we respond, we lose sight of like when we're no longer grounded and then we're talking. Um, and sometimes, everything is information and I see the importance in just allowing yourself to 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 listen, not just what's on the outside, but also like within yourself. Um, Doing that self-interrogation or the self-talk, where you check in and see what resonates with you after, like after you've cleared your mind, what stays and what have you released that's not your own, and then speaking from that space. Um, so yeah, that's what I took from this. This I really needed that today. So thank you. I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much for being here and for your incredible contributions. I appreciate you. Now I want to just welcome everyone who is just joining us. It's just wonderful to have all of you here with us on Clubhouse. And also, it's wonderful to have all of you who are joining me on YouTube. If you haven't checked out my YouTube live stream, the link is at the top of the room. Please make sure you check it out. And also, I just want you all to know that I have a new book that has been out since March 7th. It's called Rooted in Love. If you want to get a copy of it, the best place to do that is through my link tree, which is on my Instagram and Twitter profiles. Now I want to come to you, Makuba. Makuba, how are you? And I know that we held the travel room where you are one of the curators, along with Lavender, who is hosting, and other amazing leaders from across the world. Can you just share with us how that session was? I was not there at the end, but take your time, share with us, how you're doing, what today's proverb means to you, and then we'll pass it on to Robin after that, and where you're joining us
Hi,
from.
Simon. Hi, Simon. Good morning, everyone. It was very, very informative. There were a lot of ideas on how we could curate travel in Africa, particularly bringing in educational sponsors, so that we can be able to use travel in Africa as an educational experience for the youth. So it was very, very nice. We had a lot of positive input. So, on to the proverb of today. When I look at this proverb, I think of the stories of old. I remember when I was a little girl and I used to sit by the bonfire with my grandfather, and he would tell us stories of generations past and use some proverbs. What is so funny about our ears is whatever we are listening to over a period of time dives in deep into our subconscious, and that forms us in ways that we cannot begin to understand. And so I'm very happy for my African ancestral lineage to be able to take those values that are deep and rooted in me, even when I wasn't even concentrating on what they were saying or the stories. Um, I remember my grandmother when she would want me to pick firewood and I would pick it in a certain way, and she would say, an empty vessel makes the loudest noise. And that has stuck with me, and I say it to my own children, and sometimes we laugh about it. So, in this proverb, I encourage us to use our senses wisely, to take the good and apply it to our lives and bless others, and disperse of the negativity. This is Makuba, and I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Makuba. I appreciate you so much for your contribution today. If you want to join the Travel in Africa sessions, they happen every Wednesday at 11:15 a.m. PST, which is 9:15 p.m. East African time. So join us for those sessions. They're amazing, and we intend to continue doing them for weeks and weeks, especially for those of us in the diaspora who hope to travel to the continent at some point. Zize, it's been a minute. I've been admiring your amazing work on Instagram, and I'm just so happy that you're here. I'm so proud of you. Share with us where you're joining us from, what this proverb from Senegal means to you, and also how you're doing. Thank you so much.
Hello. Good morning to everyone. I am coming to you from Denver, Colorado, where the beautiful golden yellow sun is shining bright away this morning. Yes, it is so nice to be here. Thank you for welcoming me, Simon. I have been just living life a little bit. Life gets real a little bit when you have a young one, and so I haven't been as present here. But anyway, I saw you on this morning. I read the uh, the proverb and I heard it, and when I heard you all speak it, every time it just tickled me, because there is so much truth and honesty. Um, and life in that as well. And like everyone has said, and Sister Stella beautifully said, um, it's like a nice reality check, right? A nice reminder that listening is a practice that we can all do more of. There is so much going on. There is so much going on, and it's so important to be able to really listen to the truth, the honesty, the real, like what's real in our experiences, in our stories, in our connections, and so on and so forth. And so, yeah, I I love being here. I love this proverb. It's really powerful, and it's something that I'm also working on. Like I'm constantly having to remind myself that, um, yeah, I don't need to be talking as much. It's all good. We can just listen. I could just listen. I could take it in, and I can reflect. And I never even have to say anything. And it's all good. And it's all good. Thank you all so much, and I wish you all a lovely, lovely day.
Oh, thank you, Zize. I agree. I agree that it's all good. Whether you talk you choose to say a lot or listen, everything is still going to be fine at the end of the day. But there is definitely a lot of satisfaction and just a lot of peace and just a level of sanity that comes with deepening your listening skills. So I appreciate everything you just said and shared with us today. Hi Bibi, how are you doing, and where are you joining us from? And also, what is your interpretation of this Senegalese proverb, your ears are wiser than you are?
Thank you, Simon. Good morning, everyone. Um, Today is the first time that I actually managed to wake up and come right in time before uh, the session is over, because I'm usually asleep at this time. Even if I'm on Clubhouse, the rooms I'm in are just listening rooms. So thought I would come in today and join in on the conversation. And I missed out on all the amazing words of wisdom from everyone, but I would say my interpretation is well, it's not completely interpretation, but it's like I'm sure we all have our favorite people that we go to for words of wisdom, and especially when life gets a little tougher, or we have something to share with someone, or whenever we feel like um, something is bothering us and we need to tell someone, but we really can't tell anyone, then we remember that one particular friend that we can always confide in and and fully trust. And that's because they're great listeners. And by that, I would say people that we can confide in, they're our most trusted people, because they listen to us and they guide us and give us the wisest advices and stuff like that. So I know I'm completely all over the place, but I would say if you don't have a confidant, um, you gotta have one. You gotta get one, because we need them. And if you can be one to someone else, that would be fantastic as well, because we always need someone else that can give us a better perspective, because they tend to listen to what we're saying instead of hearing. And that's my take. Thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I agree. There's a saying which is common: iron sharpen iron. You can't sharpen yourself. So over the last few weeks, I have a mentor who is always very loud on social media and is always present on multiple platforms. But over the last few weeks, he has disabled all his accounts. He has not deleted. He has disabled most of his accounts, and I've been trying to reach out to him for some advice, and he's been telling me that I'm also trying to find a rhythm for myself. I'm trying to find a balance in my life. So I'm sorry, I can't engage. I'll engage with you when I'm ready. So then I'm like, wow. I thought in my mind as a mentee, I felt that he is in a place where I can tap into his wisdom anytime. Then I realized that he's also working on himself. So then after hearing the same thing, I'm trying to find a balance. I felt like, wow, is it time for me to also reach out and be helpful? Could he be going through a hard time where I could just be a listener? So I told him, would you like to talk about finding a balance in life, because it's something that I also struggle with. It's something that this proverb also speaks to us about. But he said no. So I was like, okay, well, I also need to even go into a season like that in my life where, I just embrace the silence, the quietness, and find a balance in my life again. So, with that, I want to thank you, each one of you, really, who has been here with us for the last almost 1 hour. Today, we've been dissecting a proverb from Senegal, and it says, "Your ears are wiser than you are." And these are the lessons that Stella helped me put together before we showed up here with the village and for this conversation. So hopefully some of these are takeaways that you can take with you and pick some of them that relate to to your situation. Number one, listen more and talk less. These are some of the things that might help you deepen your listening and just your growth in terms of wisdom. So listen more and talk less. Take time for reflection every day. Be patient and never give up on learning. Be humble and admit when you don't know something. Practice mindfulness in everything you do. Surround yourself with wise people. Study different subjects and learn about other cultures. And finally, don't be afraid to make mistakes. So if you joined us earlier, I expounded on all of these 8 items a little more. And also the shares from each person today allows us to even see them in a more clear way. Today, typically, as every Thursday, we normally have Gogo Rutendo Ngara. She's not here with us. She'll be back in May. She's traveling with a group of other griots and indigenous spiritual leaders from across the world. They were in California for a while. Now they're in Hawaii. And then she's going back to South Africa. So by May, she will be joining us again on Thursdays. And I'll be back here tomorrow for the last, session. And then I'll take April off until May 2nd. But in May, on May 25th, we have Africa Day here on Clubhouse for 24 hours. We are looking for speakers. We are looking for volunteers. We are looking for, just allies. So feel free to DM me directly if you want to be involved. Oh, I see Steve has joined us on the stage here too. Just DM me directly if you want to be involved. Oh, Noga is in the audience, and also reach out to Noga directly if you want to be involved with anything to do with Africa Day on May 25th. Steve, I would just love to give you a chance to share with us where you're joining us from, what you think about today's proverb from Senegal that says your ears are wiser than you are. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Simon. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening. I'm Steven, joining from Kisumu, Kenya, and I'm happy to be here with all of you. About today's proverb, your ears are wiser than you are. I think basically, from my understanding, is we just need to understand ourselves better than we know ourselves, and appreciate those who surround us. For those who are surrounding us can watch our back than us seeing whatever is coming from our back. So we just need to be open-minded and positive with our conscience, and allow for other people also to watch our backs for anything that is coming from behind. You cannot see it. That's all for now, Simon. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Steve. Yeah, what you're saying reminds me of hide and seek. when you're playing hide and seek, sometime, some people that you play with can be so good at hiding that they can really, really scare everything out of you. Anyhow, thank you. And it's nice to hear different sounds, different background sounds whenever every speaker unmutes their microphone, especially on Clubhouse. It's just beautiful to hear the sound from Kisumu. Earlier on, we were listening to the sound from Denver, Colorado. It's just beautiful. But thank you, Steve. Thank you, everyone. I do want to just recognize Panyardi and Sarah and Regina and Wildflower D, Allison, Robin, Swift, Samara, Roger, of course Noga and Lavender, and Makuba and Steve and Bibi and Ziz and Kikuyu and Stella and Tess and Tracy and Brother and Next. Have a nice day, have a nice evening, take good care of yourselves. This is the end of our time together today. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link is at the top of the Clubhouse room. And if you're on YouTube, please, if you're watching this, remember to subscribe and continue supporting this amazing work. Peace and love.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father, tujikaze, America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington.